guys, what's going on? So I got another video for you guys now. I'm experimenting with new things with the screen capture and everything. So I'm trying to get you guys some better videos, trying to do better quality videos, and just kind of show you guys different angles of what's going on in the red pill sphere. And so if you guys have been watching any of the bigger YouTubers like Rollo Tomasi, Rhinestone, people like that, they've talked a little bit about Will Smith. Okay, they've talked about how he's kind of a blue pill alpha. If you don't know what that is, look that up on Rollo Tomasi's Rational Male. I can explain that for you if you want me to. But basically, blue pill alpha is kind of like a purple pill dude. And if you know anything about red pill and blue pill, we'll get into that in just a minute. But they talked to, I'll explain all that later. But they got into that where they were talking about Will Smith basically a blue pill alpha. And that's why Jada kind of runs all over him, and how, cutting your hair off is signs of you don't love a man anymore, and how she basically is alpha widow for Tupac, all that kind of stuff. Then they kind of talk about how, it's even affected the kids and stuff like that. There's a lot of things they played on, a lot of things they talked about when it got hot about Jada wanting to, have an open relationship and her going crazy basically and doing all these different things. And then they had that red table talk about, her having that affair with whatever his name is, August something. And Will Smith is like crying in front of her, and she's got zero remorse, zero remorse, because of course girls kind of are disgusted at guys that cry. And they tell you that they want you to open up, but then when you do, it backfires. Okay, you fell for it. Take a chug of my drink here. I got this, by the way, for Christmas for my brother, but it's a ram horn. I got the whole Viking Dad wisdom. It's a ram horn made by this company, and it's really cool. And it's actual ram horn. They got bigger sizes and smaller sizes. He got me the bigger size, and it's been really good so far. And I was trying to make sure it wasn't leaking, but it's been very good so far, and I like it. But anyway, let's get into the topic. Now, I've been trying to do some different things here. They've talked about what they've talked about in those videos, but they haven't really talked about something that kind of got my attention. Now, before I get into it, I'll explain to you guys kind of what red pill and blue pill is and everything like that, and blue pill alpha and blah, blah, blah. So basically, the red pill is knowing women's nature. Okay, if you know women's nature and you execute your life knowing women's nature, that's red pill. Blue pill is where you've been kind of conditioned by society. You're the beta blue pill nice guy. You're playing by all the rules that society has made you do in a gynocentric society, a women-led society. And a lot of times it can come back to burn you. Now, a lot of these guys aren't ready for the red pill. They can't do that. It would do more harm than good to them. Okay, when you have the veil taken off of your eyes, sometimes you get problems like you had in was it Montana, where the guy did a little bang bang, went after a couple people. Roman, what's his name? But anyway, that's the difference between red pill and blue pill. Now, alpha and beta is not so much I'm alpha, I'm alpha, I do this, I'm the Chad, I'm the blah, blah, blah. We kind of make fun of that because people get in these scenarios where they're like, I'm alpha lion, Spartan 6'5", 420. And they want to sell you all this information on what to do, how to be more alpha, 7 rules, be more alpha, and things like that. But basically, what an alpha is a guy that other guys want to be and that other girls want to bang. That's basic of an alpha. It's not good or evil. People can use it for good or evil, but it's not good or evil. It just is a nature. And then a beta is the 80% of the other guys that just kind of have to take whatever's left over. Okay? If you look in bloodlines and you go back through genealogies, you'll find out that somewhere around 80% of men never reproduce. They never reproduced, and basically you have the 20% left of the bloodline breeding with the other 80% women. Okay, so I mean, that's just the way it happened to be. And girls say that girls will try to tell you that a guy that gets lots of women might as well be a hoe just like a girl. And I'm like, no, you don't know how hard it is. So hush up. But anyway, that's the basis of alpha and a beta. It's not good or bad. People just use it according to things that they are trying to do to circumvent a women's strategy in dating. And so basically, what we have here is we have Will Smith. He had that whole debacle with Jada Pinkett Smith. I think they were separated at the time, and she got with August, which was a friend of the family, much younger than her, like in his 20s, and she was, getting up in her 40s at the time. She's like 50 now. And then they had that red table talk, and he's like crying. He's like all emotional, all that kind of stuff. He's betrayed. She doesn't care. You could argue that she really doesn't love him anymore. Okay, she got with Will Smith because he's Will Smith. Okay, but then when she was with him for a long time, she kind of broke him down, and he went into his beta ways. And then here we are. A blue pill alpha is someone that is really great to be around. Probably has a really positive nature. He's really alpha in his business, makes good money, looks good, all that kind of stuff. But then in relationships, he goes back to societal norms of the strategy of a beta. And that's basically a blue pill alpha. Now, what'll happen is he'll seem like a really awesome guy, and then you date him, and he's trying to do everything he can to please you. He's making you the center of his universe. You can sit there and look at that picture where Will Smith was like pointing at Jada Smith. I mean, I don't know if you could put anybody on a higher pedestal than that. And she despises him because of it. You can see it in their interactions. You can see it in his new biography that he's got coming out. And that plays into what I really want to talk about, which is he's got a new biography coming out, and he had a trailer for it. Now, if you've got a trailer coming out for your book, you're a big deal. He's Will Smith. He's got another new show that was coming out where he was going to be traveling the world doing all these amazing things. Think about the stories that he'll have when he's old. He should be a great man, right? The problem is he has trouble in relationships. And they haven't really said anything about this, but in the trailer, it shows me something. Okay? In the trailer, it showed me something. I was like, I wonder if any of the other guys have seen this. And like Rhinestone, Raul Tomasi, blah, blah, but they haven't said anything about it. So I wanted to hit this while it was hot, talk about it, and then maybe one of these other guys will notice the information and give you a bit more detailed story, like break it down in their own means. But in the meantime, here we go. I'm doing my little video on it. Now, I'm going to try a screen capture here. And we're going to go from here. I haven't really done these, but I just tried it and it worked. So we're going to see if it works again. All right, you might not be able to see me, but I'm going to try to pull this up. Where is it at? There we go. Now I'm going to move this over right here. I'm going to move where you can see me. Okay. So it says, Will Smith reveals guilt he felt after failing to protect his abusive mother. Now we're getting into something. Okay? Now you won't be able to read this, but I'll read it for you. Let me pull it up here where I can read it here. Just 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. I'm on page6.com. There's lots of stories on this, but this is the only one that had all the information together where I could read it. Okay? So if you go to the actual article, it said Will Smith revealed that he has suffered from guilt because he believes he failed to protect his mother as a child with his when his father beat her to the ground in the family's Philadelphia home. Okay? Now, he was young at the time. It says one situation happened when he was 9. Okay, so he's a little kid at this point. And it says, when I was 9 years old, I watched my father punch my mother in the side of the head so hard she collapsed. I saw her spit out blood. It's tragic. Smith writes in the book that he released last Tuesday. Smith's father, Willard Correll Smith Sr., and mother Caroline Bright eventually split when Smith was a teenager and divorced in 2000. Now it's 2000. That's 22 years ago. All right. So it was still a long time because he's like in his 50s now, and so 20 years ago he'd been like 30. So really, he had problems with his dad all of his life. Um, Now I don't think they really stayed together, and he kind of got out and got into acting, but the conditioning still got there. It still got there. It says, within everything that I have done since the awards, accolades, and the spotlights and the attention. Now listen to this. The characters and the laughs, there has been a subtle string of apologies to my mother for their inaction that day, Smith says. Now, pay attention to that. All right? I'll make this a little bit smaller because it's like ginormous to my head. For failing her in that moment, for failing to stand up to my father, for being a coward. Pay attention to all of this, okay? Smith wrote that his father once beat his mother until she collapsed on the ground. We'll talk about that. In his deeply emotional analysis of the incident, Smith reflects on his indecision to intervene. Okay? Let me move this mic a little bit closer. What you have come to understand as Will Smith, the alien annihilating MC, the bigger than life movie star, is largely a construction, a carefully crafted and honed character designed to protect himself, to hide himself from the world, to hide the coward. How we decide to respond to our fears, that is the person we become. I've decided to be funny. I wanted to please and placate him, because as long as Daddy-O was laughing and smiling, I believed we could be safe. And then his dad died in 2016. He admitted recently to having suicidal thoughts while filming a YouTube series about fitness and weight loss, and has been airing the inner works of his open marriage with his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. I think it's funny how in the article they just put Jaden Pinkett. They didn't put Jaden Pinkett Smith. It's tail right there. Smith revealed in September that his own personal conception of polygamy at one point was a harem of girlfriends, including Halle Berry and Misty Copeland. Here's the deal. It's a fantasy, okay? He's playing with a fantasy because he thinks that a poly relationship is going to result in that. It's not. His mentality is not going to let that happen. Not as long as Jaden Pinkett Smith is in the picture. Now that I've read you that article, I want to bring up another thing that ties it all together. The Rational Male Promise Keepers. Okay, this is an article written by Rollo Tomassi, and it's a very, very good article. I was trying to find this, and my brother actually found it and sent it to me in a message. I really appreciate that. Way to go, bro. But if you bring it up, I want to zoom down to a particular part of this video, or a particular part of this article. Right about here, okay? Right about this section right here. And then I'll keep reading some of it. The father-hating boy becomes the masculine-hating adult beta male. Feminine social conditioning is cruel to be sure, but nothing cements that conditioning in better than a living example of what a man is not to be, and then committing your life to not becoming it. As I stated earlier, those conditions may be legitimate, but his end result is the same. A beta who thinks a woman will categorically appreciate his devotion to the feminine by his promise to not become like other guys, like his a-hole dad. This is in fact a very solid extension of beta's game, presuming that women will view him as unique amongst other men for being so well adapted to identify with the feminine. And of course, the majority of women who care more about dominant alpha traits, who have no appreciation for his promise to be a better man, then become low-quality common women to him. Then this is the root of the conflict the guy in my example has experienced. He's coming into a more mature understanding of what his father experienced with his mother and women, and it's clashing with that adolescent declaration of devoting himself to what he thought and what his conditioning at the time was his imperative. If I'm a better dad than dad, I'll be deserving of love the way I envision it. I'll be appreciated, and hypergamy will be unconditional due to the quality I've invested in my relationship. Now, is that not a prime example of what has happened in Will Smith's life? Take a drink on that. Wow. I don't know, guys. That seems like a prime example of what's going on here. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? And it's shocking to me that the other guys, I guess they got a lot going on right here at the end of the year. They hadn't really picked up on that considering Rolo wrote the essay. But it's like, boom, it just instantly clicked with me when I watched the trailer for Will Smith's biography. It clicked with me. Do you know why? Because it hit me personally. All right? This video hit me personally because it resonated with my life. Okay? And I can break down some personal stories later on for you guys but I grew up in sort of the same situation as him. Okay? The same situation with the parents. And it wasn't till I was like getting closer to 30 years old. Right there, same example, that I told my mother if she didn't divorce my dad, I was going to take my brother away from him. Okay? And so at that point, she divorced him. But it took that. It took me going to an extreme of saying, he's got to go, or he's going. Choose. To where she would do that. And then a few years later, he died. Of his own doing. So here's the deal. Very close to the same thing. And I grew up with a mentality, a beta mentality. Don't be like dad. Be a better guy than your dad. Okay? And what happened with that? I grew up a lot like Will Smith. I'm going to be the total opposite. I'm going to be a good guy. I'm going to be a good husband. I'm going to find the right girl. I'm going to do all these things, blah, blah, blah. Blew up in my face. Blew up all in my face. And luckily, I got out of it pretty much unscathed. I was lucky. Got out of that marriage pretty much unscathed. But it could have went a lot different. I could have been in Will Smith's situation with 2 or 3 kids with her and half of my livelihood gone. So that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Pay attention to what you're doing. You've got to get out of that conditioning. You got to become red pill aware. You got to become capable of understanding female nature so that you don't become like Will Smith. Will Smith's a great guy. I'm sure he's a great guy. He's got all these things going for. He's a movie star. And everybody knows who Will Smith is. Wild Wild West. Everybody knows. Men in Black. But Jada Pinkett thinks he's dog crap. She's going on all these shows talking about all this feminism stuff, shaving her head. She's doing everything she can to spit in his face. And he's just like, it's okay, baby, I still love you. He cannot let go of that because of the promise to his mom. And I really feel bad for him because I feel like if he read The Rational Male, it would just open his freaking eyes. He would be another one of those guys at 50 years old that read the book and was like, wow, I've been living a lie. And it might help him or it might hurt him. It's kind of like when you find out the Matrix is the Matrix. It's just like in the movie they said, sorry, we usually don't unplug people this old because they can't handle it. But man, when I watched that video and then I put all this together, I was like, holy crap. It resonates with me. It makes total sense to the way he is. And it could or could not be it. But I mean, it's leading towards it. But I hope you guys really liked the video. I hope you could see everything. I tried to put it up where you could see it. I'll go back and watch it, make sure it's still there, and do my editing and everything. But I've got multiple other videos for you guys. If I pull up here in my notes, I got a lot of good videos. I get at least 1, 2, 3, 4 more videos that I've got that's coming out soon. And I really think you guys are going to like it. But this one just really resonated with me, and I had to hit it. Had to hit it right now. But like I said, like the video, hit the subscribe button. I got a lot more videos going for you guys. And also, side note, I am back on the TikTok. And so if you go to TikTok, you can pull up my TikTok, same name, Viking Dad Wisdom, for now until they ban me. They've banned me. They've banned me like 4 or 5 times. So finally got back on there. But there we are. Thank you guys. I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.
Get up, get down. Get up, get down. Get up, get down. The bass and sound. 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 Get up, down for the bass.